billions of interactions that take place within the physical body to allow us to think, to smell, to say things, to talk, all of these subconscious functions that we possibly couldn't analyze. There's too many things going on at the same time for us to analyze those things and still live at the same time. There are no mistakes. There are no extra pieces. There are no extra pieces. No bad guys, no good guys. No people misleading people and so on and so forth. All this stuff is just, this is God. Everything. Beyond the mind's analysis and beyond what we could comprehend about the nature of infinite intelligence. Infinite intelligence is happening. It's all moving all at the same time. Everything doing what it's supposed to do all at the same time. Billions and billions of activities and functions and mechanisms and things all taking place in this now moment. The less control, the more power. The less control, the more power. The less I can get in the weeds of attempting to supervise the functionality of all these countless billions of things that must take place for me to exist here. All that stuff, once again, for me to get in the weeds of the details, for all the stuff that's necessary, for me to be here now, it's too much. Too much for the logical mind to comprehend, to handle, to attempt to figure it all out. It's a blessing. I exist. I am, therefore I am blessed. We can trust ourselves. The more we trust ourselves, the more we find a sense of acceptance and peace with all those around us, all that we see, all that we observe. That's confidence. That's courage. It takes courage to observe that which you do not resonate with and allow it to be as is. It takes a lot of courage. Some of y'all, once again, we get emotionally manipulated all the time or get poked at, and we see some ideas or somebody saying something, and it's totally against how we feel, or the opposite of what we don't like, and we feel like we gotta go and change it or tell them how it is and what need to happen, and that's wrong, and trying to fix it, and we just create chaos for ourselves, attempting to get down in the weeds of feeling as if we need to tell the blood circulation to do its job right. Tell the heart to pump harder. You're supposed to, and this is just, once again, an analogy. We talked about this before as well. Control issues have everything to do with insecurity. Control issues, those with control issues have insecurity problems. Because if they were actually confident, because we kind of look at people who are controlling and kind of overbearing, no, don't do it like this, do it this way. No, don't do it. And, some people enjoy that energy. Especially the feminine type. Oh, yeah, I like somebody who know what they do. But after a while, you get tired of that. People over your shoulder telling you what to do and trying to fix everything. It's like, look, let me live my life. Control issues. This is insecurity. Afraid that things are going to go opposite of what we want as individuals, or what the ego wants as an individual. The ego feels things should go like this and like this and like this. So, of course, is going to attempt to micromanage the activity, decisions, and actions of everyone in their circumference. Because they're afraid. They're afraid things won't work out the way they want them to work out. Once again, it's called less control, more power. The powerful parent allows their child to fall and hit their head every now and then. They allow their child to pour milk in the cereal bowl by themselves, to experience their own decisions, to make their own decisions, and be able to step back and recognize that there is order outside of their own particular preference. You've seen it before, overbearing parents that give birth to children. By the time the kid's 16, the 16-year-old child don't know how to pull a bowl of cereal by itself because mama was always there trying to do it for him, trying to micromanage and make sure they get it right. And it's like, well, now he don't know how to. You expect him to drive a car, to pay the rent, to pay the light bill on time? You crippled the person. You crippled the being attempting to do everything for him because you were scared, because of your fear. You took away their opportunity to recognize themselves, to become a fully functioning, self-sufficient being because you wanted to do everything for them. Yeah, fear something else. Less control, more power. The less micromanagement you do, the more in alignment the nature of the experiences will be. Because the fact is, you designed the story. You already wrote the story. You already set out the plan. You made the design. You already created the circumstances and the outcomes of the circumstances. And all that's necessary is for you to be cool and experience the experience and follow your intuition to allow yourself to make the decisions that need to be made when they're presented. Not 3-4 days out. What's in front of you? What's the decision that need to be made now? That's when you use the mind. That's when you use the brain, the analytical mind, and the filters of judgment and what have you. The decision that's in front of you. Just that. That's all you need to use the tool for. Use the tool and put it back. Make the decision and put the brain back. Put it back on the shelf and get back in your heart space. This is how this design work. And of course, us picking up the tool and using the tool to make a decision was a part of our ability, or at least the catalyst of our evolution, our ability to make wise and informed decisions. We're going to talk about that a little bit today. Wise and informed decisions. And of course, with every great decision comes the ability to put the tool back. You make the decision and you put the tool back on the shelf. You don't hold on to the tool and walk around looking at things to analyze and find what's wrong and who wrong and this person wrong and this. And once again, this is you living in the ego. Living in the ego gets you a bunch of opinions and thoughts thoughts, about preferences, about people and everything, and labeling folks, and this person is such, and this person is this, and this person is this, just walking around with the ego, labeling and judging everything, attempting to categorize everything in your experience, when in actuality, you were supposed to put that tool down when you made your decisions about your life, versus using that tool to go around analyzing everyone else's life and their character and who they are and what they represent and what they doing wrong and so on and so forth. No, you were supposed to put that tool down when you made a decision in your life. That's what the tool was for. It wasn't about you going around and making a bunch of decisions about everybody else's life and what they should do, telling people who wrong and so on and so forth. That's not what the tool's for. The tool is for you and your experience. It's not about them, it's about you. We said it 1,000 times. It's not about them, it's about you. And who are you? God. How is God treating God today? What is God's decision today? How does God feel about God today? What vibration are you choosing to be in today? Not that he fake, that's wrong, such and such a fraud, and so that's not what the tool's for. You don't know them people. You're here to get to know yourself. That's what you're here for. You're here to get to know yourself. It's called the path of self-realization. You know how many lifetimes it's taken you to get to the point where you can actually be at peace and gracefully recognize your own emotional body, recognize your own belief systems, to recognize your own distortions, recognize the things that you need to release in your life. You know how many lifetimes it's taken for you to get to the maturity of being able to objectively and truthfully do that? Objectively and honestly do that. Plenty of lifetime. Once again, beloved, we're talking about a 13,000 year cycle, and that ain't but half. That ain't but half the cycle Earth humanity has been through just to get to this point. So it's wise. It's wise to recognize the distortions and problems that you have with the world, and all the people in it are yours as an individual. They're your responsibility. And that responsibility has nothing to do with you going out to correct other people. It's about you taking accountability of what's going on inside. And that accountability has everything to do with unconditional acceptance and forgiveness. Everything to do with unconditional love and forgiveness of self. When you change, everything change. The versions, I'll say it again, the versions of all the people that you see in your reality change when you change here in the hologram. Somebody write it down. All the versions of the people that you see in your reality change when you change. God, it's very easy for us to point the finger at someone else and assume they're the problem. Don't take no effort, no strength to do that. That's passing the buck. That's passing responsibility. No, it ain't my fault. It's your fault. You bad. You the bad bad guy. Your problem. It's not my fault. I'm good. But we talked about moral superiority before too. This is the assumption that you're somehow a victim. Someone else is doing something to you. And of course, that makes you the person in moral superiority and these people inferior. Because they're bad and you're good. Let's control more power, beloved. We got work to do. Big time. Big time. Because once again, it has everything to do with us. It's our responsibility. We got to make the changes. If we want to. Once again, we ain't got to. You ain't got to. We all get to believe whatever we want to believe, walk down any path we want to walk down. But once again, some of y'all saying y'all want freedom. You want liberation. You want to evolve. You want to exist beyond suffering and division and war and fighting and competition and all these other distortions, deception, and so on and so forth. Once again, the only way to get rid of all that stuff is to go and heal. It ain't got nothing to do with you going to them people and judging them and labeling them and what have you, finding bad guys and all. They got everything to do with going in here. The only way out is in.